Evolution of species. Evolution is the sequence of gradual, irreversible changes which took place in the primitive organism over millions of years to form the present day species. Variation that resulted in the formation of new species occurred basically due to the errors in DNA copying as well as due to sexual reproduction. We'll learn a very simple illustration to understand the variations in population that led to evolution. A group of 12 red beetles live in green bushes and reproduce sexually. So they are likely to develop variations. These are some possibilities. First situation. Crows eat these beetles as they can easily pick up the red ones in the green bushes. There is a color variation during sexual reproduction and green beetles appear. It reproduces and its population increases. Crows are not able to see green beetles on green bushes, so their population continues to increase, but that of the red beetles decreases. This type of variation gives a survival advantage. Here, the green beetles were naturally selected and they were not visible in green bushes, which forced beetles for better adaptation to the surroundings for life. Second situation. Due to the color variation, few blue beetles appear forming blue population. Crows can see both red and blue beetles and eat them. Initially, there are more of red beetles and less of blue. There is a sudden calamity. An elephant kills red beetles by stamping on the bushes. The blue beetles survive, reproduce and increase in number. In this case, there is no survival advantage for blue beetles, but provides diversity without any adaptation, and sudden change in environment such as accidents changes the frequency of certain genes even if there is no survival advantage, called as genetic drift leading to variation. Third situation. As the population of beetles increases, the bushes suffer from a disease and the availability of food for beetles decreases. The size of beetles decrease during that period, but after a few years, as the plant disease is eliminated and enough food is available for the beetles, they come back to their normal size. This type of change is not inherited because it does not affect the DNA of the organism. If the weight of the beetle is reduced because of starvation, it will not change the DNA as low weight condition is not a trait. Here, the frequency of an inherited trait, that is genes, changes over generations. What are inherited traits? A trait or characteristic of an organism which is caused by a change in its genes or DNA is called an inherited trait. Inherited traits can be passed on to the progeny of the organism because they have produced changes in the genes of the organism. The process of inheritance is a type of microevolution. Inherited traits actually mean the characteristics which we receive from our parents. So what is acquired traits? A trait or characteristic of an organism which is not inherited but develops in the response to environment is called an acquired trait. For example, if a beetle does not get sufficient food for a considerate time, its weight will be reduced due to starvation. The low weight of this beetle, which has been acquired in response to environment which had insufficient food. The acquired traits of organisms cannot be passed on to the future generations. Only those traits can be transmitted to future generations in which changes have occurred in the genes or DNA present in reproductive cells of the parent organisms. When the weight of a beetle is reduced too much due to starvation, then though there is a change in the normal body cells of the beetle, no change will take place in the genes or DNA present in its reproductive cells or gametes. And since there is no change in the genes or DNA of gametes, this acquired trait of low weight of beetles cannot be inherited by its offspring.